Hi everybody, it's Connie. I think you know that, but in case you don't, it's Connie, and I'm here to talk about widowhood. And so my thought for today is, so I'm a widow. Now what? And it's all about picking up the pieces. And I made some notes over here on my board that I'm going to refer to just to keep me on track for you. And some of you may have heard this before, some of you may not. Some of you may have heard it and don't remember it, and I want to share it in case you have any friends that are new widows, that you can share some of this information with them and refer them back to my channel on my very first video of being a widow. And that was 4.5 years ago as of now, which is August 2023. So what do we do now that we're a widow? Well, I don't think I have to tell you, first and foremost, what we're going to do is we're going to grieve. And we're going to miss them terribly. And we're going to be sad, and we're going to cry. And we're going to have trouble going to bed. For the first month, I slept in the lazy boy chair. I couldn't go to bed. And so I did that slowly. And so things like that are just, I don't have to tell you to do that because you're going to do that. What I would encourage you is, if you have trouble going to bed and you sleep in the chair or elsewhere, don't let it go on too long. As with any other grief emotion that we're going to go through, there's a point where we go through it too long and then we end up needing therapy. And so I want to encourage you to, as well as you're grieving, to stay focused on some of the issues that you need to work through. And one of the things, and when I was making notes, I put this on number 3, but I'm going to back it up, and I'm going to say that one of the things that you really need to do, and that's get out of the house. I did not, and I would like, like a parent, I guess, if you can learn from my errors and my mistakes, things that I could have done that would have benefited my grieving process, because I became almost a recluse because I stayed in the house too long. And you guys in this channel are one of the things that kept me from going there. So I want to give back. And so get out of the house, and even if all you do is go for a walk, and you don't want to walk in your neighborhood because you don't want to say hi to anybody, then get in the car and drive to another neighborhood where nobody knows you and get out and take a walk. I would say go to the mall, but if you go to the mall, if there's any in your area, you might run into people that know you and you may not want to talk to anybody yet. And so I would encourage you all along the way, from the time you are a widow until forever, get out of the house. Go for walks, go to the gym, go to the coffee shop, get a coffee, sit in the coffee shop if it's not one that you run into people. Just be around the talking and the noise and the people. And it's okay to be sad while you're there, but we need to get out and be among people. And I did not want to see anybody that I knew, especially until after the memorial, because I didn't want to have to explain myself 100 times. So keep that in mind when you get out of the house. Probably best for now to go where you don't know anybody, but get out. Even if you just walk around the block and come back home, and then the next time 2 times around the block, 3 times around the block. I now walk anywhere from 2 to 4 or 5 miles a day, depending on how I feel and how much energy I have. But I try to at least get 2 miles in now, and I know 3 make a better difference for me. So those are some goals that you can work up for. One of the other things that I want to recommend that you really do, and there could be many, and you can take every advice from anybody on books that wants to share it with you. Don't take any other advice, but take advice on books. And one of the books that was gifted to me when I first lost my husband was called Widow to Widow. I don't know the author, but it's on Amazon, and there's only one. And it's Widow to Widow. So get that book and read it. And a lot of it may be stuff that you're not even into yet. That's good, because you're going to keep it and you're going to read it again and again, because every time you pick it up, you'll learn something new. The other thing that's important that you do, as soon as you can, muster up the strength to call around to the churches and find out where there are Griefshare groups. And I recommend that you get into one that is loss of a spouse, male or female, but at least the loss of a spouse. Because every other loss in our life is a terrible loss, but they're all unique to the person. And so stay in a widow or widower Griefshare group. That would be my recommendation on that. And get into it as soon as possible, because it's a 16-week course. And all you do, you don't have to talk. All you have to do is sit in there, watch a video, and listen to others to see that there are other people where you are and that feel the way you do, and that you're not alone. I think that's really important, that you understand that you're not alone. And the only way you can do that is to get out and hear others talking about the same thing. You know, it's like AA meetings and Codependence Anonymous meetings. They all think they're the only one. And then they get around others and they're like, oh, wow. And so they keep going and they get the information and the encouragement they need to get. So find yourself a Griefshare group, get into that. Remember to get out of the house. This is really, really important. Do not make any major decisions in the first year. Don't sell a house, don't move, don't redecorate to any major degrees. Just no major firsts, because you're not ready. You're not in a state of mind yet to make any major decisions in the first year. And not even with help from others. Others will come in and be supportive and say, oh, this house is too big and you need to move and get in a smaller space. You probably do. But I would recommend not doing it the first year. And so that would be my recommendation on that. Any major decision that you can think of. And I'll talk about a way to get some help with us and you know, get in touch with me, or if you want to do that as well. On help on a major decision that you think you're going to make. Get some help on it. And don't get help from those that don't know. Get help from those that have been there and done that. Some small decisions that you can, and it would be best if you did. And that are things like, and I know this hurts if you're a brand new widow, and I can tell you it is important to do, and that is as soon as you can, and I don't mean the first week, but as soon as you can, empty the closet, empty the toothpaste drawer and the medicine cabinet. Those are small things, but they're huge to do. Imagine if that's big, how big it would be to make a decision on a move. We just can't do it. We have to wait at least a year. So I want to encourage you, and it tells you in the book, Widow to Widow, and I think they give you a year, but I will tell you in some other counseling and different studies that I was in, it's good to take his things out of the closet the first month or two, the medicine cabinet, the toothpaste drawer, his favorite coffee cup. You don't have to throw things like that, some of that away, but move it where it's not in your vision every day, because every time you see it, you're just going to lose it and you're going to cry, probably. And so we're going to cry anyway. So let's not add to things that are going to make us do it. And so I took my husband's clothes out, my husband Gar, I took his clothes out the first month And I thought I could do it by myself. My daughter offered to help. I'm like, no, I can do it. She came, and I'm so grateful she did. I definitely needed her help. So I went through all of his clothes. All of his shoes, his underwear, socks, everything in the closet that was his. And yes, the closet looked empty, and that was sad. But it was not as sad as seeing his shirts that he put on all the time and knowing I'm never going to see them again on him. So I did save out 2 or 3 shirts, and I was going to have a teddy bear made out of it. I never did. A good thought if you're a brand new widow is you can save some of his shirts, and you can have pillows or a teddy bear or something made out of it, maybe for each of the grandchildren. I wish I had done that. That would have been wonderful. And that would have made me very happy. So I wish I had done that. So there's an idea for you. So I gave them all to Goodwill. My daughter and I drove over there and gave them to Goodwill. And I put them in black trash bags so that I didn't have to keep seeing them. Once I got them in the trash bag, they were there. And so, yes, there were tears. But I did it, and my daughter was there to support me. The stuff in the toothpaste drawer and the medicine cabinet, just throw them out. I had a desk area that was his, and I cleaned off everything. He didn't have a lot on there that was his personal stuff, but it's where he sat a lot, and so I had to clean things off of there. Now, I left things like he had a little square cube, and it was full of pennies. It was all glued in and everything. Somebody gave it to him as a gift. I left that on there. That was in the house. Pictures, absolutely. I left the pictures. I'm just talking about things that he used every day, his clothes, toothbrush, things like that. And I am only saying this out of love because you know I went through the same thing. And there's been a lot of grief in 4.5 years. And I'd like to save you a little of it if I can. And so those are my recommendations for realizing you're a widow and what do you do now and how do you pick up the pieces. So this is my first thoughts on this and how to cope with each day. And when we come back, maybe I'll talk about some coping mechanisms to get through each day. So I love every one of you. I have prayers for you every day, and you are very close to my heart because you guys, everybody on this channel, new or been here a long time, you have really helped me by us being able to talk about things to each other together and get through it. So if you want to connect and you're not connected yet, if you find me on Facebook and just look under Connie Norleen, I'm there, and friend me and ask me, and then private message me and let me know you friended me. And because sometimes the private messages kind of get lost and it takes me a while to find them. And then I have a Widows Facebook group that I would love to add you to. So if you're not in that yet, let me know and I will add you to the Widows Facebook group. And we communicate in there, we support each other. If anybody has a challenge, we can support them through it. And so you can, besides the Griefshare group, you can continue then to stay connected to us through our Widows Facebook channel. So I encourage you to do that. And find the Griefshare group right away because, in fact, it might be too late for this right now because we're in the middle of summer. But find it now because I think it starts up again in September or October. So, and it's 16 weeks. So find one now so that you know where you're going. And you can, and then if you go to one and you don't like it, don't hesitate to go to a different one, okay? So with that said, I'm going to let you go for now. And I want to thank you for being here. If you want more of this information on picking up the pieces and where to go now, and some of the fun things we're going to have on this channel, please hit the subscribe button and give me a thumbs up. And then if you want to be notified, of course, you can hit the bell and you'll get notified whenever I do a new video. So remember, if no one else tells you today, I love you. Have an awesome day. Bye for now.